Hey guys, we're over at Universal Pinball today. We're wrapping up this Bally Amigo. I've probably put about a day into it so far. I'm going to go over what I did and what I still need to do. Kind of teach you guys the basics of getting started on one of these. So before you even get started on one of these, you want to make sure your steppers move freely, like this one. See, I've already gone through it. So there's a step-up coil that pulls this plunger in. Like that. So you want to make sure it's moving nice and clean. And you also notice that I cleaned all these rivets real good on both sides too. I took this, these are called the fingers. I took this off and cleaned all of these. I cleaned these. And I use a fiberglass brush pen to clean these. I'll show you that in a minute. Here's another one that has a step up and a reset coil. So this one steps up. And this one resets. It's kind of hard to see in the game, but the point is you want to make sure that they move freely, because a lot of times they don't, and the game definitely will not work if your steppers don't move freely. Also, you don't really need to check these, but you need to know that the score reels, sometimes they're going to work fine, sometimes they're not. You need to be able to advance. Like that. See, that one's kind of sticking a little bit. Gotta do a better job on that one. The reason is because when it gets to 9, it gets the hardest job of going from 9 to 0. That's because there's a switch in there that tells you that when you get to 9, you need to put a score on the one that's 1 up, because then you'd get 10, you'd have a 1 here and a 0 here. Otherwise, the score would just go back to 0. It wouldn't help you much. So if you look at this here, it's all the same until you get to 9. See, 9 needs to come down and push this. And then when you go back to 0, you actually break the contact at the top 2. And this tells the game that the score reel is at home position, which means that the score is 0. All of the score reels need to be at 0 in order to finish a reset sequence, which you must do to have the game start. So 9 goes down, and this is Bally. Gottlieb and Williams do it slightly differently, but it's the same concept. It goes down, then it makes contact on this bottom switch here. That tells the game that once this releases, it's time to add a point to the score reel 1 up. So if this is 0, this would be 10 here, and then back to 0 means this is broke and this is broke, and then the game knows you're at 0 when you do that. So steppers and score reels. Usually if the score reels look pretty good, I don't always go through them all. I test them in the game before I call the game done, but you don't really need to test those ahead of time. But you definitely should make sure the steppers move before you even plug it in, because half the time they don't. So here's the game on the inside. There's 3 more steppers on this game. All of them you want to make sure they work, because any one of them will prevent you from starting the game. So this one's step up. This is reset. Nice and smooth. That's what you want. Reset. If it doesn't do that, you gotta take it apart, you gotta clean it. Step up, step up, step up, step up, reset. And then this one has one on the play field. So we go. That was reset here. Step up, step up, step up, step up. So this is for the bonus. So this one goes up to like 15. And you gotta make sure it snaps back. Oh, this one, yeah. Snaps back nice. That's once the steppers are good, you're probably ready to plug the game in, see how you're looking after that. So with this game, when I got all the way through cleaning the steppers, I went and I pushed this, and nothing happened. It wouldn't start a game. So one of the ways you can see on these Ballies is if kind of the game's awake at all, is if you touch this top switch here, and it's usually this top switch. That's the switch that runs the score motor. So if you notice, the score motor has divots in it, and there's a bunch of plates. Each plate does something different, but this one that's here closest to the front, that one's the index. So there's only one hole in it, and the stack needs to be in that hole for the score motor to stop running. And how does it know when this is pushed up? It touches this top switch, and this top switch says keep running until I'm not making contact anymore. So in this particular situation, this is called normally open. This one here that's open. But this is a make-break switch, which means it has a normally open and a normally closed. So this bottom leaf, it was normally closed, but it was not making contact. And that switch needed to make contact for the game to be able to start. I have the schematic showing you over here. So this is what a make-break switch looks like on the schematic. So in rest position, you go straight through, the one with the line through it. And when it's open, or when it's not in rest, it goes this way. So these are normally closed switches. And with this, in Bally, if it has a circle around it like that, it means it's a score motor switch. So you see this is just power from the transformer. And then you go up here, normally close, and I checked to make sure that those were making contact as they should be, and they were. So if this switch is not in home position, that would mean it would be going this way. And you see it goes up this line over to the score motor. So that's why when we tap that switch, the score motor runs. It shows it right there. So when it's in home position, it goes through the reset relay, normally closed, and it goes through the credit button. On Bally, this button here on the front is called the credit button. So it says right here, when you hit the credit button, if the credit unit is not 0, that means you have credits on the game. So this is the credit unit. Right now it's at 0, but that wasn't the problem. I had checked that. So that's another stepper. So if you see here, you step it up. So now it is not at 0. That means you have games. So you come back here, credit unit 0. So when it's at 0, it's open. When it's not at 0, it's closed. So you go all the way through there. Any one of these can direct the power to the credit relay. That starts the game. So you want to engage the credit relay to start the game. So coin unit limit, player up unit 0, ball count unit 0, game over relay. Any one of those, the path can be going through it. It's a little more involved, but the point was that this switch wasn't making contact. So what did I do? So I found the switch on here. It's this top one. Oh, I should mention that. So this says 1E, right? So score motor, 1E score motor. So I know it's on the score motor because it's circled, but it also says it in 1E. So you go over here. Fortunately, this still has the paper on it. A lot of times they're missing. That says 1. So this first disc is 1. We know that. And then E should be probably A, B, C, D, E. So it's this one. So what happened was this got dirty. So I cleaned it real good. And it got dirty on both sides. So it actually was gapped okay, but it was just dirty. So I cleaned it and then I fixed it. And now the game starts again. So how do I clean it? Well, I'll show you. So there's a lot of ways to clean a switch. But when you can get in really easy, then it's often a good idea to use a Dremel with a wire brush attachment. So you turn that on. And you kind of go in here like this. Same thing here. So you can also use a metal file or they have like these sandpaper discs you can use. Everybody has its advantages and disadvantages. But so now I should be able to make sure it's still working here. Yeah, it's still working. And then, yeah, that's working. Okay, so back to trying to get the credit button to do something. So we got normally closed, normally closed, normally closed, normally closed. That's the credit button. That's the credit unit 0 that I showed earlier. So we went through the game over relay. So that shows normally open, but this is a lock latch switch. So we're looking for the wire that is gray yellow and brown red on the game over relay. So we go to the game over relay, and it's this one here. It's not super obvious because it's old wires. That's gray yellow, and this is brown red. So if this switch is closed, then the credit button should start the credit relay. So on this game over relay, if it's working properly, when you first turn the game on, it engages the trip, or the latch. Sorry, I think this one's the latch. So it engages the latch, which brings the coil in, which makes this make contact, right? Sorry, there we go. So that's making contact. So now we have a full path. All right, we start here. Normally closed, normally closed, normally closed, normally closed, credit button, credit unit 0, we checked that, and now we're going through the game over relay. So now if we push this button, we should engage the credit relay. Let's try it. So here's the credit relay right here. Do it like this. It's credit relay, fortunately the paper's there. There you go. I went ahead and I set all of the score reels to 1 to give you the full effect of the reset sequence. All of these ones need to go to 0 before the game can move past the score reel part of the reset sequence. Also needs to reset the bonus unit. Other games have other features. All the features need to get to their home state before it shoots the ball out. So here we go. See a couple sticking. That one got stuck going between 9 and 0. So I gotta fix that one. But this happens all the time. The game gets stuck, not finishing a reset sequence. That's because there's one score reel that didn't go. A couple of the others had issues too, as you saw. All right, I'm gonna have to spend some more time on these score reels, but for the video, about finished. Shouldn't have taken that long, but it got through them all. I got to go through all the score reels, clean them. Anyways, so now I've already cleaned and waxed the playfield. So I took all these plastics off, cleaned the plastics, put all new rubbers on, and now we want to go through and make sure it functions as it should. So every switch, every target should have just the right sensitivity, so when the ball hits it, it scores, but it doesn't lock on. See? Notice that if it's locked on, it just engages that score motor, and it can burn up if it stays locked on too long. So you want to make sure nothing's locked on. But you also want to make sure it scores when a ball hits it. So we're going to try that out. So we got a ball right here. Yeah, score, that's perfect. Yes, here we go. Test that, that works. Those work good. Test all these guys. It's not working. So this, oh, it's already up. That's so it's up post, down post, up post, down post. So that's working. The spinner. The spinner could use some adjustment because it should sit flat, but it's sitting forward, which means the ball doesn't hit it quite right. So we make sure all the targets work just right. Doing great. There, get it. Got it. Oh, and I didn't shoot the ball out. Why did it do that? Is this so when the ball drains? Oh, this is all. Oh, it's not working. So that didn't work. There. All right, so we were hitting these two targets here, and nothing was happening. Both of them say advanced bonus. This target also says advanced bonus, and I noticed that when I hit all three, the bonus wasn't advancing, so nothing was advancing the bonus. Now, this is the coil to advance the bonus. And that's called the bonus unit step-up coil. So I went to the schematics. Over here, we have bonus unit step-up solenoid is 37, F37. So here's 37, and then F is up here. Bonus unit step-up solenoid. So that, among other things, is controlled by advanced bonus relay. Okay. So I went and I found the advanced bonus relay, which happened to be right here. And when I hit it, it advances the bonus just fine, which means the stepper unit is functioning properly. But, as you can see, this wire broke. So that was the problem right there. Let's try it now. Here we go. Ready? Look at that. So we fixed that issue. Done. All right, here is me actually fixing it. So I was just saying it's fixed. That's good enough. It's not going anywhere. Okay, so let's go back to the out hole. Why did that not work? So if you look in there, you see there's a little metal. So when the ball goes in there, it pulls this down. That's hard to show. Pushes that down. And then what does that do? So on the other side, you see there's a switch here. This is called the out hole switch. Right here. So when the ball's in there, this could use some adjustment, but basically when the ball's in here, it makes this switch right here. But nothing's happening when I do that. All right, here's the bottom of the playfield. Should be doing something, but it's not. It's not. So what can we do? We can take a jumper and we can jump that switch, which means that if we fix the problem, the out hole relay should start firing. We don't need to continuously keep poking at it. I'm going to do that here. I'll shorten against other things. All right, so that switch has been jumpered. Essentially, it's closed now. So let's go to the schematics. I started with out hole relay. So out hole relay, so right here, out hole relay is F6. So we go to 6, here's 6, and here's F, and here is out hole relay. So what do we got here? It's got to go through the ball index relay, normally closed. Got to go through the bonus 0 relay, normally closed. It's got to go through the score motor switch, and then it's got to go through that out hole switch. So I started with the score motor switch. That's 1D on the score motor. So that's that same. Remember 1 was the one we did earlier? It's that first one here. So we did 1E earlier. So remember here's A, B, C, A, B, C, D, E. So that means that D fighting me. Well, it's because I have it stuck closed. That's fine. All right, I'm going to take this off. I'm making it worse. So, we see we got this one here. If you can see, it's not really made. He's not really touching it very well. So you don't see a lot of back pressure on it. You want to be able to see like on this one, you can see that the switch is moving when it's making contact. That's because you know you got pressure on it. On this one, I don't really see that. See, it's not really touching it very well, is it? So that could be the problem. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold it just a little bit up. Just make a little contact on it just for testing. Then I'm going to go over here. I'm going to hit the switch. Oh, and it worked, see? So what are we going to do? We're going to clean that switch. There we go. also need to gap it. This is called a contact adjuster tool. So let's gap it right. It's not really making contact, so I just bring it up a hair. Going in there and bending it a hair like this. Alright, so now you can see it's hard to see, but I can tell it's got a little bit of back pressure on it now. I can make this go a little more pressure downwards. Would be good too on this one. Alright, that looks good. Did we fix it? Let's find out. Wow. Look at that. Fixed 2 problems. And then this is working because we fixed that. See, it's advancing the bonus as it should. That lights out. So when we drain, it should zero the bonus out too. Other than the score reel, this game is doing pretty good. So there's a lot to cleaning a score reel. Sometimes you need to take this out, take the whole thing apart. And down here is super dirty. I mean, it's all about cleaning. But a lot of times, it's just that the switches are a little not adjusted quite right. So I think in this case, so this bottom one here is the one that tells it that it's at 9. I think it's just a little too tight. It's bent too far forward. So see, it's trying to push it, but it can't quite push it. But if I help it, then it works. So I think if I just adjust this switch a bit to make it so it still makes contact when it gets to 9, but it doesn't have to work so hard to do it, I think in this particular case, that'll fix it. But yeah, sometimes pretty often you gotta take this off, you gotta take all this apart. You gotta get in there, you gotta clean it, then you gotta put it back together. And that almost always fixes it. But I think in this case I can get away with just doing that, and if it works snappy every time, then you know, on score reels, that's good enough. There's a lot of score reels on this game. Okay, so that's exactly what I did. So now when we step, it went just fine. Doesn't get caught up there anymore. So I gotta go through every score reel now, and that's probably gonna do it on most of them. But each one's different. So I gotta go through the score reels, and then I think this game's gonna be pretty good. I gotta do the flippers. How do you do the flippers? Well, this particular case, if you notice when you push this up, it gets binded. Why does it do that? That's because somebody put a linkage on it. That's not the right one. See, this is the right one. It's nice. That's what it's supposed to have. This one, it's got the wrong one. It's a little bit too short. So when it goes up, it binds. See, it's no good. As opposed to this one. That's because somebody put the wrong part on there at some point. So I gotta get the right part. And so you always wanna take, this is called the coil stop right here. You wanna take the stop off. You wanna take the coil out. You almost always want to replace the sleeve if it hasn't been done recently. And then the linkage, if they look nasty, then you replace them. If they don't, they're usually okay. You want to make sure there's not too much play in the linkage. So if you move the flipper, well, that's another issue. See, that top part's moving. That's not supposed to happen. So this probably needs a new linkage. But a lot of times you check the play here. And if the play here is not bad, then see, actually that's pretty good. It's just that this seems to have become detached. So I'll probably have to do both of these. But you can buy a flipper rebuild kit from Pinball Resource. It has all the parts you need. This is the end of stroke switch. A lot of times you have to do that. Here's the end of stroke switch. So flippers, they have a high power side and they have a low power side. When you push the flipper button, it uses the high power side to flip the ball, and then it uses the low power side to hold the flipper up. So see, it breaks the This is the end of stroke switch here. It breaks the end of stroke switch, and that kills the power to the high power side. So all you have left is the low power side, and you can coddle a ball. You can hold this button down without burning up the coil because you're only using the low power side. So you got to make sure your end of stroke switches are adjusted right. Sometimes they don't have any meat at all left on them, and you got to replace them. If there's a little bit of meat left on them, you can clean them. I use the Dremel tool, same as I did down here, to clean them, and that's usually good enough if there's meat left on them. If they are, these are questionable. It depends on how bad they look. Anyways, that's pinball.